What's up, guys? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Tuesday, November 13th, 2018. Saying that date out loud sounds kind of insane.
It's almost midway through November.
Wow. It feels like Halloween. It feels like I was in a Winnie the Pooh shirt like yesterday, but I guess it was 2 weeks ago.
Much else.
And there you go, 42 days until Christmas.
For people
true.
who are listening on audio, I'm holding the Santa mug with the chalkboard. 42 days.
Busiest lady in the biz, Andrea Renee. Ready as ever for
30
Christmas.
under 30, Tim Gettys, everybody. Woo!
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I can't believe it. Woo! We did it.
It's so cool. It's really, really cool.
Dude, just take it all in.
Oh, I'm taking it in. Trust me. Oh, God. Great. Oh, that was a cake?
Is there a song for
I feel like we should sing
Oh, my God.
something.
Happy birthday.
No,
Can we hit
Kevin, that's
Skycam?
the wrong song.
No, Skycam is off for whatever reason.
30 under 30.
So, Cool Greg, Andy, and Joey just
actually
walked
says-
in
that's
with
awesome.
a cake that says 30 under 30 with
Y'all
dollar
are the
signs
best.
on it.
I wonder who did that. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you, guys. That is so cool. I do have my
You
phone.
got to take a photo or something.
Oh, yeah.
Put it on Instagram and I'll show the kids that way.
That seems like a lot to do.
All right, then
It's
Unless
okay.
Andrea-
I'll do the intro.
Thank you.
take that photo. As Tim mentioned, today is Tuesday, November 13th, and this is Kinda Funny Games Daily, your source for nerdy news in the morning, each and every weekday right here at kindafunny.com. Of course, you can watch it live at twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. If you do, we would hope that you help us by keeping us honest by going to kindafunny.com/you're wrong and let us know what we screw up as we screw it up. You, of course, can always listen to the show on your favorite podcast service, and you can watch the show at youtube.com/kindafunnygames, where we hope you'll throw us a subscribe, maybe smash that bell, maybe give us a ratings on the Google Play
Give us the
Store or
ratings.
iTunes
Only 4s or
or
5s.
Spotify.
Don't give us
or-
3s.
Yeah.
We don't do 3s here.
There it is.
There we go.
Beautiful. Now everybody watching
It is really nice
can see the
looking.
cake.
You did a great job.
Oh,
Slice it up.
I love it.
Kevin's like, I'm hungry.
Cut it up. I can take over from here.
Sure,
As it is
housekeeping?
Thanksgiving next week. Let me tell you this, Andrea Renee. No morning show, no games daily.
I was surprised. I had it in
Yeah.
my schedule. I thought
Did
Greg
you?
and I were going to do a send off on Tuesday.
So
And then I got the email from him being like, nope, no live shows.
there is a reason for that that we can't give all the details on yet, but we are still doing Game Over Greggy's show. We are still doing Gamescast. We're still doing Party Mode. So stay tuned for that and enjoy times with your families. It's Thanksgiving. I guess that's the thing people do. Plus, we've teamed up with the ESRB and Penny Arcade for Join the Conversation. The ESRB and PA are working together to start a conversation about video games, ratings, and how to make sure content is appropriate for all ages and interests. We want to hear from gamers, parents, and kids about how they use ESRB ratings, parental controls, and other tools to create an appropriate video game environment. You can join the conversation by telling your story and enter to win prizes such as a $25 GameStop gift card, a free grand prize trip for 4 to a 2019 PAX event of your choosing. How do you enter? It's a good question. Here's a good answer. You can head over to esrbconversations.org, enter with a story, tip, caption, photo, or video about how you, your friends, or your family use ESRB ratings and other tools to keep video games fun and age appropriate. The contest is judged, so take your time and be creative. You don't need to be a parent to enter. We want everyone, E for everyone, to join the conversation. Enter at esrbconversations.org and get all the information and rules there. Today, we are brought to you by Loot Crate, MeUndies, and Third Love, but we'll tell you about that later.
Wait.
For now,
You missed a piece.
I did.
The meet and greet.
Greg's doing a meet and greet next week. He's home for Thanksgiving, so it's time for Portillo's meet and greet Saturday, November 24th from 1 to 3 p.m. at the Bloomingdale, Illinois, Portillo's, 134 East Lake Street. That's the one at Bloomingdale Road and Lake Street. You can check Greg's Twitter for more information. Will Greg's mom be there? 100%. Will you be there?
Will Andrea Renee be there? Probably.
Really?
Yes, I'm in Chicago.
Oh,
I did
that's
not know
exciting.
that Greg was doing a meet and greet. I found out about it by listening to the show yesterday. So I have to make sure I don't have any obligations to the
Yeah.
fam. But I mean,
so
Bloomingdale's
jealous.
not that far from where I'll be. So
I love it.
I
I'm
like
so
French
jealous
fries.
you get Portillo's, man. It's so good. It's so good. But for now, let's begin with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We got 3 news stories today.
A baker's dozen, hardly.
The first one's a big one. First one's a big one. The Game Awards nominees were announced. Jeff Keighley put out a YouTube video today showing all the different nominees. Of course, Game Awards happening early December. We're very close to that.
Thursday,
like
December
3 weeks
6th.
away.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. Leading the pack with 8 nominees each, Sony Santa Monica's God of War and Rockstar Games' Red Dead Redemption 2 are both nominated for Game of the Year alongside 4 other titles. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Ubisoft got 4 nominations. The Independent Celeste from Matt Makes Games, Marvel's Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World from Capcom. Other notable multi-nominees include Epic Games' Fortnite, including Best Ongoing Game, Best Esports Game, Best Mobile, and Best Multiplayer, and a trio of games with 3 nominations each. Treyarch's Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Destiny 2, Forsaken from Bungie, and Detroit Become Human from Quantic Dream. Nominated content creators and streamers include Ninja, Pokimane, Dr. Lupo, Myth, and Willy Rex. I love people's usernames, and I love that that's a thing that we'll never get over. You know what I mean? It started back in the day. I don't know. I'm gonna give AIM credit, even though I know that's not right. But that's when I first had to.
I don't know, man. AIM's a good place to start.
I'm sure people had some. I'm sure there's someone in the chat. You're wrong, maybe. I was using CompuTech.
We don't need a you're wrong about this. We don't need the thing that was the first thing. We need the thing that made it popular, and AIM is what popularized it.
Hell yeah. But I love that just sticks to nowadays where people still have names like Dr. Lupo and Pokimane. It's fantastic. And how did he get Ninja? Like, can we talk about that for a second?
I mean,
like, motherfucker not only had the best year of all time, he also gets to be called Ninja. That seems weird.
That's some good planning.
What's his Twitter? Is his Twitter Ninja?
Yes.
Shut up. I don't believe that. How?
Maybe he just got in at the ground level.
On it.
It's literally Ninja.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
There has to be some backstory there. I don't get it.
Like, how'd you snag it?
How'd you get it? That's insane.
Maybe if somebody was squatting on it and then he went to Twitter and was like, yo, I'm streaming with Drake. Can I get at Ninja? No, he had it before then.
My God. So I'm going to run through the nominations for you guys here. Game of the Year.
Before you do that, just a disclaimer, and maybe just so everybody knows, both What's Good Games and Kinda Funny Games are part of the jury for the Game Awards. Fancy. So we did vote on these nominees.
Yeah, there's like 40 different media outlets or something like
60
that.
60 this year, I believe.
60, wow.
Let me double check.
Yeah, voting on all this stuff, nominating on all this stuff at the very least, and then voting on many of the categories, not all of them. Some of them are user voted. But Game of the Year, we got Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Celeste, God of War, Marvel Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, and Red Dead Redemption 2. Very solid list. Here's the thing. Gamescast this week is going to be our full predictions for the Game Awards, both for announcements and trailers that we see and for who we think is going to win. And it'll be me, Greg, and Jared taking bets on who wins. If you're available, you're allowed to come. Andy also can do it if he wants. But I don't know. We'll see what Thursday looks like for everyone.
Maybe I'll come by.
That'd be fun. It would be fun. Best ongoing game. Destiny 2, Fortnite, No Man's Sky, Overwatch, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. Best game direction, A Way Out, Detroit Become Human, God of War, Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2. Best narrative, Detroit Become Human, God of War, Life is Strange 2, Episode 1. Interesting.
I was also pleasantly surprised because obviously I love Life is Strange, but considering we only have one episode and no release date for episode 2, I was kind of surprised that as many other outlets voted for it as they did.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. Good for them. I love seeing the Game of the Year conversation and Game Awards conversations getting shook up. Like, the rules have changed. Let's adapt. Let's keep going forward and make video games a cool, different thing. Best art direction, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Octopath Traveler, Red Dead Redemption 2, Return of Obra Dinn. Not familiar with that one.
I've been getting a lot of people reaching out to us at What's Good asking us to play this game and talk about it. So I also have not played it myself, but it's on the list.
Kev.
Yo.
Can you Google Return of Obra Dinn? OBRA space DIN.
Give me 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Best score / music presented by Spotify. Shout out to Jeff Keighley, man, killing the game.
Hey, it's expensive to put on a show.
Hell yeah.
You know exactly how expensive it is.
Dude, and getting Spotify, that's awesome, especially if they're probably going to do the thing. You can listen to all these soundtracks on Spotify now. Like, brilliant marketing. It's great. Let's check this out for a second.
I'm trying to... Give me a second. I don't like this. Let's see if there's a proper trailer.
Okay.
Oh, because it was somebody reposting?
Yeah. Well, no, I don't even think it was a trailer.
Well, they all it's an interesting Game Boy Pocket look.
You have to put trailer in there. Kevin,
Andrea.
someday I'm going to teach you how to use
That's cool. It's the first time
the search
doing
bar.
this. Yeah, you got it. Any of this looking right? None of these look like actual trailers.
The top one does.
The available now, right?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This game looks interesting.
Yeah, it looks like Game Boy Pocket or Game Boy Camera is what I meant to say.
So if you guys are not familiar with the game, this is, I don't want to call it black and white. It almost looks like a greenish version of sepia tone. But it's all outline drawn with a kind of comic book pixely art style to it.
That looks awesome. And yeah, so it's up for Best Art Direction. Cool. It's on Steam. Available now. You can play that. Best Score / Music presented by Spotify. Celeste, God of War, Spider-Man, Ni no Kuni 2, Octopath Traveler, Red Dead Redemption 2. That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
A lot of those games have fantastic soundtracks.
Yeah, it's really, really challenging because when you think about something like music, so much of that is subjective, right? Like what has the best music when you have to put these great pieces of music up against each other. I mean, but for me, like, I don't even know like if anyone's going to beat Celeste for music.
I mean, oh, dude, Octopath Traveler was fucking amazing. But yeah, I love Celeste as well. Best Audio Design presented by Dolby. Well, again, hey, getting some great sponsorships here. They very perfectly fitting. Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Forza Horizon 4, God of War, Marvel Spider-Man, which better win, and Red Dead Redemption 2. Here's my thing. Again, we're going to go into more details about our picks and stuff on Gamescast, but the simple little things that made Mario Odyssey special were the audio tweaks that would change depending on where you were in the world and what type of terrain you were in and how that would change the sound effects. Spider-Man did that in a realistic looking world. And that is so impressive. When you start to gain speed and the music swells and starts to like rise with you, I've never experienced that in a video game. It was perfect every time. Best performance, Brian Deckard as Connor in Detroit Become Human. Christopher Judge as Kratos in God of War. Milisanthi Mahout as Cassandra.
Good work.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Roger Clark as Arthur Morgan. Red Dead Redemption 2. Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker.
I feel like
Marvel
this category
Spider-Man.
is always so difficult because there's so many fantastic performances in video games year over year. I mean, any of these people could walk away with it.
These are all great. Games for Impact. 1111 Memories Retold. Celeste. Florence, Life is Strange 2. I'm so happy Florence is nominated.
Me too.
That's awesome. If you don't know what Florence is, it's this fantastic mobile game that's all, you can play it with one hand. It's a vertical mobile game.
Just buy it. Just download it and play it. It'll take an hour of your life and you'll leave going, wow, I can't believe I waited so long to play this.
Yeah, and it's seriously just an hour. It's worth I think it's like $3. It's such a great time. Life is Strange 2 Episode 1 is also in Games for Impact, and The Missing, J.J. Macfield and the Island of Memories. Spooky. Best Independent Game, Celeste, Dead Cells, Into the Breach, Return of the Oberdeen, and The Messenger. Oh man, what a lineup. That is incredible.
It's going to be rough.
Best Mobile Game, we got Donut Country, which is
Donut
County. Joey's a big fan of that.
It is a great game.
Florence, Fortnite, PUBG Mobile, and Reigns Game of Thrones.
Really happy to see Reigns in there. I think it's an underappreciated game. If you guys are big Game of Thrones fans, it's a good way to get into Reigns. This, of course, is the licensed version of the original Reigns, and it's a super easy swipe adventure game, like text adventure game, essentially. But it's all set in the Game of Thrones universe to see how many days, how many moons, technically, you can sit on the Iron Throne. Really, really nice. You guys should play it if you like Game of Thrones.
It's interesting because, we were just talking about Florence and how amazing it is. But at the end of the day, to me, Fortnite is such a technical achievement. Like, I'll never forget, it was live on Gamescast when we played Fortnite Mobile for the first time. And I was just like, oh my God, they did it. Like,
Yeah.
this is the full game. There's there's concessions made, but there's no concessions on the gameplay. There's no concessions on what the game is. That's
Absolutely. It's just so
insane.
tough when you put experiences like Florence, which is so
Designed
unique
for-
and specifically designed for mobile, and a game like Fortnite that's clearly designed for PC, and then they have ported it very effectively and efficiently to a mobile platform. In even a game like Donut County, that's kind of straddling both of those lines. It's tough when you have like a behemoth like Epic Games
Yep.
up against like a one-person team,
Yeah.
you know?
Best VR/AR game, Astrobot, Beat Saber, Firewall, Zero Hour, Moss,
Firewall.
and Tetris Effect coming
What
in.
an amazing
coming in hot at the
lineup in that
end.
category.
Wow.
So good.
That's great. Best action game, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Dead Cells, Destiny 2, Far Cry 5, and Mega Man 11. Best action adventure, and God, like these genres, it just gets so like even when we were like nominating,
It's
I'm
tough
looking at
because
some
you're
of these,
like, they fit into multiple categories, right? Like, to me, I would say God of War is also an action game because the
'cause it was
emphasis
a
on
game
combat,
with an
right?
emphasis on combat. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, that's a weird thing to put on this.
Right, especially since so many games are hybrid games now that kind of take traditional genres and mash them together. But these are all good category nominees too.
Totally. Some best action adventure. We got Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Spider-Man, and Red Dead Redemption 2, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Best role-playing game, Dragon Quest XI, Echoes of an Elusive Age. Monster Hunter World, Ni no Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom, Octopath Traveler, and Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire.
That's a rough category. I mean, I think any of those could win.
I think it just, at the end of the day, is going to depend on the fan bases of who out of the jurors has played the most of them.
True. Yep.
And to be clear, when we vote for things, we're also allowed to not vote. And
That's a very important distinction to make.
our stance is we do not vote if we don't feel qualified.
We abstain. Yeah. So one of the qualifications for nominating in these categories is if we aren't comfortable nominating a minimum of 3 games in the category, we are not allowed to nominate in the category at all. So for example, What's Good Games doesn't play a lot of fighting games, and we could only think of a couple games that we would want to nominate. So we just left the whole category blank.
Yeah, makes sense. Just like us in the racing games. Best fighting game, Blaze Blue, Cross Tag Battle, Dragon Ball Fighters, Soul Calibur 6, and Street Fighter 5 Arcade. Great year for fighting game fans. Best family game, Mario Tennis Aces, Nintendo Labo, Overcooked 2, Starlink Battle for Atlas, and Super Mario Party. So essentially, Nintendo games that don't have their own category might as well just be called the Nintendo category year after year. Best strategy game, Battletech, Frostpunk, Into the Breach, The Banner Saga 3, and Valkyria Chronicles 4. Best sports/racing game, FIFA 19, Forza Horizon 4, Mario Tennis Aces, NBA 2K19, and Pro Evolution Soccer 2019. Best multiplayer game, Call of Duty, Black Ops 4, Destiny 2, Forsaken, Fortnite, and Monster Hunter World.
Interesting that PUBG isn't on that list. That there's only 4.
When did it have its actual release, though?
Doesn't matter. So the way that they're running nominees for the Game Awards now, which I think is actually very smart, is Jeff wanted us to make sure that we, as members of the jury, are thinking of it more like an ongoing series. If you think about the Emmys, for example, like SNL has been nominated for the Emmys, like 20x years, 30x years running, right? And so he's like, well, if a game continues to put out new content year over year as we're moving into games as live service, they are allowed to be nominated multiple years in a row if you think that the content they've put out for that year is enough for them to be deemed worthy of a nomination.
That's awesome.
There's a couple other categories like esports stuff that you can go to various sites to read. If you
We did not
want.
vote on the esports categories for obvious reasons, so
We're
probably
not
no need
informed
for us
enough.
to go over all of those
Yeah.
categories here.
But one that I did want to talk about is favorite moment of 2017. These are specific moments from the Game Awards last year that people are going to be able to vote on. Carol Shaw being an industry icon, the Game Awards orchestra performance, Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro having their moment, Joseph Fares doing his little fuck the Oscars speech, and Zelda Breath of the Wild winning Game of the Year. I think this is interesting. Well, I can see a lot of people having problems with it, but to me, all about the hype. I love this so much. I feel like this is important market research into what people actually care about for these type of award shows and what to double down on. And
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be tough, though, because, I don't know. I look at this and go, well, I would rather have him picked a bunch of memorable moments from 2018 in gaming overall.
interesting.
Key moments throughout the year that were really impactful or crazy or funny, like Ninja and Drake. Right?
Yeah,
That would be on there. Or like the crazy Tetris finals, like that could be on there.
Yeah.
Something like that I think would be a little bit more interesting than looking all the way back to 2017 and going, I'm focused more on this year and this show. But I certainly know what I would pick in that category.
All Paul says, what's going on, KFGD crew? I'm wondering about Game of the Year awards. The nominations for the Game Awards just came out, and with respect to all the games there, it seems like a 2-game race between Red Dead and God of War. Looking at these two, I have to wonder, is recency bias a real thing in this category? I went through the past few winners, Zelda in March, Overwatch in May, Witcher 3 in May, and Dragon Age Inquisition in November. Based on the past, it seems like not. Looking at this, do you think it will equivocally be a fair vote between Red Dead and God of War, or will the current hype and mainstream consciousness of Red Dead leading into the Game Awards give it an unfair advantage? Love to hear your guys' thoughts, and shout out to Tim, not only the verified one, but now the Lord of Forbes. I like that it rhymes. Maybe it's actually time to let Tim host. Best, Paul. I don't think this is a real thing because it's something that we all take into consideration.
Right.
Every time there's a conversation about Game of the Year, whether it was when we're at IGN, whether it is with us at Kind of Funny, or when we're just talking as friends at the local pub. You know what I mean? We're always talking about understanding that, hey, the game we're playing right now, we are simultaneously way more into and also way more critical of.
Yes, that's the perfect point to make. When God of War was released, I vividly remember speaking about it on What's Good and saying, I am, nervous that this game is so amazing, but it could just be, completely swept by Red Dead just because Red Dead's a Rockstar game. I mean, I had that, thought back in March. So recency bias might be a real thing in Game of the Year discussions among many outlets, but the jury members that have been selected to vote in the Game Awards generally have to make up certain criteria, which you guys can look at in the FAQs on the Game Awards website. I'm not going to go through it all right now. And those outlets have been doing this for a while, or they have people on staff that have been experienced in the games media industry. And so they know, as you said, to put that kind of bias aside. Just because I'm playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey right now doesn't mean I'm going to give it unfair weighting in the categories that it's nominated for.
Yeah, and in my perspective, it's not so much putting the bias aside as much as it's taking it into consideration. Because as much as there's a recency bias, there's also a nostalgia bias. And March seems like it wasn't that far long time ago, but it feels like it is to us when we're thinking about God of War. God of War feels like years ago to me. So it's like the way that I remember that game, maybe it isn't perfectly accurate. So the bias works.
So jump back in, Tim.
Give I'm
a
ready.
little refresher.
I'm ready. I'm still ready, man. I already know God of War is my answer, but again, I didn't play Red Dead, so that's not my thing. But
he's not wrong, Kevin.
but for me,
Assassin's Creed, bro.
I've been saying this since March, because honestly they were right back to back with each other. But Celeste and God of War were I couldn't believe Celeste would get beat by anything, and then God of War happened. I'm like, well, shit, Andy, get on that mic real
Number
quick.
one's games journalist Andy Cortez.
What
ladies
did
and
you
gentlemen.
do last night?
Huh?
What'd you do last night?
I beat the main story in Red Dead, and I am now in the epilogue.
Nice.
It's
What
fucking
completion
great.
rate are you at? Did you look?
I am at 88.
Okay, that's
88%.
impressive. So you've done a lot of open world stuff.
Yeah. Oh wait, overall completion stuff. No, I'm not at 88.
okay.
No. I'm still 88 in the story.
Okay, got it.
The main story ends at around 75%.
Yeah, and there's quite a bit of content I've
Yeah,
heard in the
afterwards.
epilogues. Yeah.
It's cool. The epilogue is interesting, sort of leading up. I don't feel like it's super necessary unless there's like this crazy payoff. But a lot of the epilogue just feels like, I don't know why this is here. I feel like the story could have ended when the story ended.
So you feel like because you're in the midst of playing Red Dead right now that it's maybe more fresh in your mind for nominations and voting?
I still think I enjoy God of War more. I still think God of War is my game of the year. And that not only goes to like, I think the story in Red Dead's great. The characters are incredible. The dynamics between everybody, and seeing sort of the arc of Arthur Morgan and how he slowly changes. I think it's beautiful. It's like heartbreaking. It's incredible. But God of War still hit on everything that I want in a game, is like when it comes to exploration, combat, story, characters.
So basically,
for
Paul,
sure.
I think what we're trying to say is no, there is no recency bias as long as the games are good, right? Because I think quality work will always stick with you, and the games, even like look at Celeste, how that came out at the very beginning of the year, but has maintained its reputation, even so much so that I played it recently and have now been talking about it again.
Past all the hype.
Yeah.
And you still enjoyed it as much as I did. That's crazy.
I was blown away by how great that game is. And so I'm not surprised at all that it made it into the game of the year discussion. I'm really happy that such a small game, was able to hold its own next to AAA titles
Titans,
that have millions, hundreds of millions of dollars of development behind them.
Let's go Messenger. Woo! Woo! What, who else is in the indie game category? You guys already talked about it, but
Dead Cells.
okay. That's gonna be tough.
Right.
Damn it.
Scrolling back
I
Into
stole-
the Breach, Return of the Obra Dinn, and Celeste.
Oh, fuck.
Great year.
Man.
Yeah.
Video games are cool.
Video
man.
games are cool.
Video games are cool.
Come here, Andy. Come here. Show the people. Show the people. There you go. You can go to kindoffunny.com/store. Mr. Rosa writes in and says, "Hey guys, the Game Awards nominees came out today, and I wanted to know if you think they will ever have the impact the Oscars have for movies. For two main reasons. The Oscars are months into the following year to account for literally every game that came out during that year, which doesn't happen with the Game Awards.
He means movie, but that's okay.
Yes. And the Oscar-winning blah, blah, blah is a meaningful phrase for most moviegoers. Best, Mr. Rosa."
This is an interesting idea. The real problem, Mr. Rosa, with this is that the release cycle for video games is so intense that there is no like blockbuster season for video games anymore like there used to be. Like, right now used to be like the time to release your game, and obviously there are still plenty of games that come out right now, but we're seeing more and more developers shift into other quarters, and because of that there's not really a convenient time for press to evaluate games from the year before because they're so busy evaluating the games of today and what's out this week. And so I think that contributes to it, but also if you remember, in June we have this little event called E3, and prep for that begins now. And because of that, there would be really no way, I think, for the staff that does the Game Awards to do all of the work and the preparation for something like the Game Awards in like March or April, because they're already like knee deep into E3 preparations, and so are all the publishers. So I think that has a lot to do with it, but I guess this is a question we could ask Jeff at some point.
Yeah, I think it goes beyond that into just the Oscars, I think, are such a legacy prestige thing where they are only as big and important, in air quotes, as they are because they have been for so long, and because movies were the only thing being graded on that way, and like the Oscars were the only place they were. The Grammys are also up there, and then there's the Emmys as well, but all of those don't work on the same full year basis. Like a lot of Grammy nominations, like if your album's not done by October, you're not gonna ever make it, and so that kind of gets weird. There's no way to account for everything, right? Like, for example, Pokemon, Let's Go Pikachu, and Eevee, whether or not they would have been on lists for anything, they were allowed to make the cut for this because they came out the same day that the cutoff was.
Right.
But not enough people have played it. So it's like
Right.
you're never going to be able to represent everything.
Correct. I mean, and don't forget, the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences has the Dayus Awards, which are the awards voted on by members of the industry, members of the Academy, peer nominated, and that includes all of the games for 2018. So it's not like there's games that these December games are continually being shut out from awards consideration, because the next question.
Well, real quick, I want to say that that's the problem, though, is that the Game Awards aren't the end-all be-all for video game awards.
Right, exactly.
Game of the year, the Oscar-winning blah 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 in video game terms is 5-time Game of the Year winner God of War or whatever. It's like when it won Game of the Year from IGN and GameSpot and this and that, right? And I don't think we can ever shake that, because at the end of the day, when it comes to like reviews and when it comes to that type of conversation, very few outlets own that conversation. IGN being one of them, GameSpot being one of them. And I feel like everything else, it kind of just trickles down into being just, oh, well, I like Waypoint. I like What's Good Games. I like Kind of Funny.
Right. Well, it's also a very big retail selling point during the holiday season, right? So to say, if somebody used to walk into a GameStop on Black Friday and say, oh, I'm trying to pick up a game for, my friend or my relative, my son, my daughter, whatever, the person behind the counter can say, well, this game was nominated for Best RPG or Best Action Adventure or Game of the Year or Best Sound. Like, maybe you want to check out this game or these nominees versus like some other games that might be available. Like, it's a great way to, upsell people or to, give people tailored recommendations. But I also wanted to bring up Will from New Jersey's point where he says, so the nominations for the 2018 Game Awards went up today, and while The Messenger was nominated in some categories, yeah, Greg, we know your wife worked on the PR for the game. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was left out again this year for RPG over Dragon Quest 11, Monster Hunter, Ni no Kuni 2, Octopath Traveler, Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire. I know this has happened before to December releases like Far Cry 3, not getting Game of the Year nods, so I can only imagine the same thing happening to Smash since it's releasing this December. But it really sucks that Xenoblade isn't getting the love 2 years in a row just because it releases in December. So thoughts on excluding them. Here's the thing. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was available to be nominated, and we at What's Good Games nominated it, but clearly it wasn't nominated across enough outlets for it to make the list. That doesn't mean that it's a bad game, and doesn't mean it got, shut out. It just means that there was a lot of competition in the RPG category this year.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of games, other RPGs that didn't make that list either, that maybe could have been like, the release of Divinity Original Sin 2, the console edition. So it's unfortunate when the games we love don't get recognition. Hello, Horizon Zero Dawn didn't win anything last
Got nominated
year.
though. I think this also, and this falls literally on people like us because we are the ones nominating things. But when it comes down to it, we said it earlier, if we don't play enough of them, we don't vote on it. And when it comes to racing games, when it comes to sports games, when it comes to RPGs, in a lot of times, a lot of the different media outlets are not covering these games in the same way that they're covering action adventure games or independent games.
Which is why there's such a diverse group of jury members, and why it's so important that they have a separate esports voting jury for the esports categories, because, Jeff is aware that there are going to be gaps in people's knowledge and their coverage. And so in order to fill those gaps, they want to make a really well-rounded set of people who are voting. And don't forget, you guys get to vote, and your vote contributes to the overall winners of who's going to take home trophies in December. So,
yep. All right, we're gonna talk a lot more about Game Awards on Gamescast this week. If you're a patreon.com/kindoffunnygames supporter at the $1 level, you can watch live on Thursday when we do that. But for now, let's get to the second news story of the day. PUBG coming to PS4. It's official. This comes from Oscar Dayus at GameSpot. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is finally coming to PlayStation 4. Sony announced the news today in a new trailer, which you can watch above if you're on GameSpot. The video reveals a release date of... Sorry, Greg Miller started prepping the show, so I haven't read this before. PUBG will launch on PS4 with all three maps, Aranchel, Miramar, and Sandhawk. Developer PUBG Corp states that the PlayStation version will contain all major features, rank systems, event mode, achievements, and much more. They'll probably call it trophies there. Pre-orders are live now with bundles ranging from $30 to $60, depending on how much in-game coins you want and blah, 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 blah. Cool. Great. There's PS4 stuff. We all understand. And then next story. Release date, new information for Marvel Spider-Man's second DLC, Turf Wars, has been revealed. Announced on the PlayStation blog, Turf Wars will be released on November 20th. 2018, it's a week from now. And the main antagonist is the organized crime boss, Hammerhead. He has declared war against the other dons of the Magia and will be utilizing equipment that was left behind by Sable International. It'll be up to Spider-Man and Yuri Watanabe to put an end to the violence that has erupted in the streets of the city. In addition to a new story, Turf Wars includes a new bosses, crimes, challenges, trophies, and 3 new suits. They all look really, really cool. The trailer for this looks awesome. It looks a lot darker than we've seen so far in this Spider-Man game. I'm very, very stoked. Did you play the Black Cat DLC yet?
No.
It's good. It's really good. And it got me really excited for this. They're knocking it out of the park.
I'm behind on Spider-Man. I need to finish. I need to finish all the games. Tim, there's too many games right now.
There is too many games, but Andrea,
and Fallout's coming out this week.
That list is only going to get bigger. If I want to know what games are coming out today, where would I look?
Tim, you would go to the official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show host each and every weekday.
Yeah. That was really well timed. I'm proud of you, Kev.
Thank you.
Proud of you. Out today, Chim Party. We talked about this earlier in the week, but it's now on PS4. Emerald Shore is on PS4. Gnome's Garden, New Home on PS4. Cool Greg, get hyped. Hitman 2 on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Just deal with it. On PS4, don't know what that is. Knowledge is Power, Decades on PS4. My Riding Stables on PS4 and Switch. That's for Paula. Project High Rise, PS4 and Switch. The Room 3 on PC. Runner 3 on PS4. SNK 40th Anniversary Collection on Switch. That's for you, Jared Petty. Spyro Reignited Trilogy on PS4 and Xbox One. That's for me, Tim Gettys. Sword and Soldiers 2, Shawarmageddon. Yeah, that's what it says on PS4. And Trailblazers, available on Switch today. Trailblazers, awesome game. It's like F-Zero meets Splatoon.
Ooh.
We played that on a party mode once. Don't know if it ever went live, but it was really cool. New dates for you. Battle Princess Madeline releases December 6th on Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, PS4, and Windows PC. Sunset Overdrive coming to PC November 16th.
Right, so this was rumored, and now Amazon has it listed. This release date, very soon. I don't have official confirmation yet from Microsoft. So if somebody has the official Microsoft confirmation, oh wait, is it in the Microsoft store? If you guys could drop that into You're Wrong, that would be very helpful. Because last I heard, it was just like rumored, and then this release date came out on Amazon, and then somebody wrote somewhere that maybe this was coming to Game Pass as Microsoft's push to add PC to Game Pass, which they talked about earlier in the year that they're planning to do but haven't officially announced. We kind of got this story in late as we were starting the show, so apologies that I don't have all of the details for you.
I want to give you some deals of the day, but first I want to let you know that our deals of the day are brought to you by Loot Crate. Let me tell you about Loot Gaming. It's a monthly subscription box delivered direct to your door with exclusive pop culture collectibles, apparel, and gear. Loot Gaming curates and designs everything themselves. You can't find these items anywhere else. Right here, hold on. Boom. These beautiful Foxhound glasses. You might know them from the Metal Gear Solid series. We drink out of these all the time. I'm a big fan of them. They're exclusive to Loot Gaming. This month's theme, Victory, comes at the edge of a blade. Face your enemies with razor-sharp gear from God of War, The Elder Scrolls, Kingdom Hearts, and Assassin's Creed. Loot Gaming is a curated collection of exclusive, one-of-a-kind items from the best video game franchises. You get a guaranteed t-shirt in every crate. Cool Greg loves those t-shirts. They also give pins all the time. He's a big fan of the pins.
The pins are dope.
Pins are dope. $60+ of value in each crate for less than $29 a month. This crate will sell out. You must order this week to guarantee yours, as this will sell out. Get the best surprises each month from the largest geek and gaming subscription company, Geek Out in Style, with Loot Crate. Subscribers are also automatically entered to win each month's Epic Drop, a special prize that looters can win just by being a looter. This month's Epic Drop includes a PlayStation 4 Pro and God of War bundle. Getting ready for that Game of the Year conversation, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Subscribe now by going to lootcrate.com/games and enter code GAMES to save an exclusive 30% off your subscription. Subscribe now by going to lootcrate.com/games and enter code GAMES to save an exclusive 30% off your subscription. Next up, MeUndies. You've heard us talk about MeUndies all the time. Am I wearing them right now, Kev?
Yeah, you
I'm wearing them right now. Will I be wearing them tomorrow, Andrea?
Yes, you will.
I will be wearing them tomorrow night. Will I be wearing my MeUndies onesie covered head to toe with the hood and get Gia in hers and us just going to roll around in our beautiful soft microfiber?
Oh my God,
Kevin?
tell me about it, bro.
We're going to do it. We're going to do it. It's going to be great. Men and women can each choose from 4 different cuts, all of which are available from the classic colors to adventurous prints. You know we're going adventurous. The best part, when you join the membership at MeUndies, you can get all the stuff, the lounge pants, the tees, the undies, everything MeUndies makes for less than anyone else. Oh, by the way, is this shirt MeUndies? Yes, it is. Are my socks MeUndies? Yes, they are.
Oh my God.
Big fan here. Big fan. It's a no-brainer. You can get 15% off a pair of the most comfortable undies you'll ever put on. To get your 15% off your first pair, free shipping, and 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/gamesdaily. That's MeUndies.com/gamesdaily. Do it, then tweet at me. Let me know which one you got. I want to know. I want to know if we share the same underwear. Like, not physically, but like, emotionally.
Ooh, those member exclusive holiday prints.
See?
They're pretty
I got
good.
the holiday onesie.
Oh my gosh,
real
they're
good.
so cute. All right.
And finally,
Gotta
Third
get
Love.
on that.
Third Love has an offer for all of the kind of honeys out there. It's the perfect bra. Using thousands of real women's measurements, Third Love designs its bras with breast size and shape in mind, so they fit impeccably and feel even better. Third Love just added 24 new sizes, making them the industry leader with a total of 70 sizes.
That's so many.
I gotta be real with you, Andrea. Didn't know there were 70 sizes of bras.
I mean,
Shouldn't
but
have
come
been
on, there's a lot of
surprised.
boobs out there, Tim.
There's a lot of boobs out there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
Skip the
there are.
trip. Find your fit in 60 seconds online. Order and try on at home. No more awkward fitting room experiences. I love you guys so much. Gia loves her strapless one, and her friend's boyfriend loves the black lacy one. She does as well. She says it makes her feel sexy.
What's
That's a
great
direct
about
quote.
them is if you order one like I did, thinking you knew what your size was in Third Love and you were wrong, their customer service is really great about helping you find the right size quickly and shipping you out a replacement.
100% guarantee. It's beautiful. Third Love takes its customer input seriously. They recently launched their most requested style, cotton. It took 2 years to develop and perfect the cotton collection, and the result is a line of incredibly soft, smooth, and breathable bras and underwear you'll want to wear every day. This is hands down the most comfortable bra you'll own. It's tagless, so no itching, and if you don't agree, you get your money back. Go to thirdlove.com/games now to find your perfect fitting bra and get 15% off your first purchase. That's thirdlove.com/games for 15% off. Third Love. Find more love. That's not their tagline. I just added that. How you feeling, Nick?
Did you hear we were talking about boobs and you had to come in? Excuse me, that's my cat?
This is my house.
Oh my gosh.
Great. Now we got to cross into this show, too.
Okay.
For whatever reason, your cat just wandered over into my lap. Wanted a little bit of warmth from the champ.
Sure he
You
did.
guys can see how I won this championship belt over on youtube.com/kindafunny with Josh Pretty. It's up right now. Congratulations, Tim. 30 into 30.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
You
Thank you.
just
Thank you
you
very much.
enjoy your last remaining time with the belt.
Sorry. Forgot how shiny it was. It blinded me for a second. I almost lost my way. Almost lost my way.
It's time for deals of the day. Thanks, Nick. Nintendo's Black Friday bundles. Nintendo Switch system with the hit Mario Kart 8 Deluxe game is a full game download at a suggested retail price of only $299 US. The second bundle is a yellow and red Nintendo 2DS system with Super Mario Maker, pre-installed at a suggested retail price of $80. Wow. That game still retails for $40. It's a pretty good deal.
I
Not the
did
best
not
version of
look
the
at the
game.
actual price of that, but I guess if you have been late to the 3DS, 2DS party, that's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Pretty good. If you have kids, it's good for them. It's good for Kev. Get on that Kev cam. Show them how good it is.
Switch.
Trip C_333 says, deals of the day. What's up to the red bomber and the verified one himself? Is that a thing?
I guess.
I'm into it. Wanted to write in with the deal of the day. During the last few episodes, I've heard you all talk about Wario64 and the IGN Deals team, which are both fantastic outlets for deals, but I wanted to bring your attention to another great follow on Twitter for all things video game deal related. It's Video Game Deals, at Video Game Deals. It's a group that also has a website, cheapassgamer.com, dedicated to updating all things deal related. They also have a weekly podcast called the CAG Cast, and being that they are all three older gentlemen talking video games, it's a fun listen. Anyways, just wanted to share this awesome resource as we can come closer or as we come closer to the holiday and gift buying season. Love what you guys do, and please, Reggie, give us Nintendo usernames.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I
Maybe one day. Yeah, Cheap Ass Gamer, man, that used to be my go-to spot. Highly recommend him.
They have a big Black Friday spreadsheet that you guys can take a look at so you can find out where all the best deals are.
Love it. Reader mail time. Zach W. Carpenter says, with PUBG coming to PS4, do you think it's a little too late? Sort of like Tomb Raider coming a year later, it lost the pop that it could have had.
I don't think it's a little too late. I think there's over 85 million PlayStation 4s around the world that people probably want to play PUBG on. You know, I think that obviously, you know, if they had brought it sooner, it probably would have been more impactful, yes. But that being said,
guys, we got this.
I think there's plenty of people excited to play PUBG on PS4.
I think it's going to do just fine. I think it's less it coming a year later than Xbox, and it's more Fortnite being as ingrained in the console space as it is now, especially on PlayStation 4. So I'm sure that all those things combined are going to, you know, kind of tick down where this could have hit. But I mean, you're right. With install base like that, this is going to be huge.
And maybe they'll also jump on the crossplay train.
Maybe. Let's go to Marco Antonio. Wait, no. His full name is Marco Antonio Morales de la Cruz.
Amazing.
Dear Andrea and Tim, I've been trying to hype myself up to buying a PSVR, and finally, this 21st, my birthday, I'll be acquiring one of these babies. My question is, how soon are we to see a next-gen VR headset from Microsoft, PlayStation, and maybe even Mr. Nintendo? Thank you for your time and everything you do.
Probably not as soon as you might think, because the current generation of hardware did not set the world on fire. So the idea that any of these companies are going to reinvest hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars into creating a next generation of hardware instead of just working with the hardware they have and maybe modifying it, a la like Xbox One X or PS4 Pro, is probably more along the lines of what we're going to see. That being said, we have some other contenders that are coming into the mix. I finally got to try Magic Leap. The Magic Leap 1 is still not available for retail, but I got to get some hands-on time with it recently, and something like that I think could be a real contender, but that of course is in the augmented reality space, not the virtual reality. So different types of gameplay experiences. But I think we're just now seeing software developers really get a hold of the hardware and making software that is really using it to its fullest potential. And I think VR's best days are still yet to come. So I think you're coming into the VR lifecycle at a good time, Marco. And that, as we mentioned in the Game Award nominees category for VR and AR games, there's a lot of great games to play in VR right now, particularly PSVR has some really fantastic ones. Moss being one of my favorites. Obviously, that's not exclusive anymore, I don't think. I think that's out on Vive and Oculus. That's another year wrong for me. And then
Astro Boy, though. It's a big one.
Astrobot is really phenomenal. And that, of course, will always be PSVR exclusive. But I have to imagine that Tetris Effect will eventually
move on.
Come to Vive and Oculus.
Who can wait?
I mean, not me. That game is Tim.
Yeah, I haven't tried it yet.
Tim,
I know.
I booted it up last night.
Are you playing in VR or are you playing?
So I started playing in regular PS4 Pro.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to start there and then move to VR to see the difference. And because I'm fully anticipating it to be mind-blowingly good in VR, and it's so good just on the regular.
You haven't tried VR yet.
Have not tried the VR one yet.
Looking at it, I'm like, this looks like a me-ass game. I want to just jump into VR. Like I want to do it right.
Right, but like what I'm saying is you don't have to wait, and if you don't have VR, you don't have to worry because it's so good in the regular version. This game, Tim, is such a perfect game. It was so good that it made me turn on Amplitude last night.
Oh, that's what I like to hear. I love it.
I'm rusty though. I went through and looked at some of your scores. Next time I'm able to log in with you, let me show you my sister's scores.
Yeah.
Because we talked about how you had to work to beat some of mine. There's like some of my sister's scores that I'm like, this is just not humanly possible.
I need to see. That's my next challenge. She's in the
top 3% of all Amplitude scores.
I think I am too.
I don't know. There was a lot of them you were with me in like the 7 to 10% range.
My overall is, I think, top 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm up there.
Okay.
I'm up there.
Okay. I'm coming for you.
I love it. There's nothing I love more than competitive
Well,
amplitude.
don't worry. I'll get Nick too.
Let's just go straight to you're wrong. It feels like that type of day.
Oh, okay.
Siren X8 says I mispronounced Illinois. It's true. I did. I'm an idiot.
How did you mispronounce Illinois? And I
pronounced
missed that.
the S.
They put him there for a reason. That's
I agree.
stance.
I agree. Scroterboat says, hold on.
Scroterboat?
Scroterboat. Okay.
You do squat up?
There was no squat up today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because I didn't see one. But I can go back and look while you're doing
Yeah,
your
if you
wrong.
see one, we'll get it in
Get
there.
out of the rotation.
Scroterboat says, Return of the Oberdeen is Lucas Pope's follow-up to Papers, Please. It's not necessarily you're wrong, but people who are into Paper, Please might be more apt to jump into the game if they're familiar with it. Kickling Long Jong says, you missed off the Sea of Thieves from the best multiplayer game nominations. Sorry about that.
Wait, what?
I left off Sea of Thieves from best multiplayer.
Was that in the nominations? I think he's being facetious.
I don't like when you're wrongs are wrong.
Somebody, you're wrong. That
I'm going to pull up
Yeah, someone you're wrong it.
I'm going to pull up
New
the
dates from Zaire. Abzu is coming to Switch November 29th. Kebab says the deets on Sunset Overdrive PC. The game is being sold for $20. It includes both DLC expansions, Mystery of Mooly Rig, Moo Oil Rig, and Dawn of the Rise of the Fallen Machines, plus a weapons pack once again out this Friday. Toddler Ray says Eurogamer's reporting Fallout 76 is playable now on PS4, and PC Gamer says you can play now on PC.
Correct. Sea of Thieves was cut off from best multiplayer game.
Wow, Tim, why are you hating on the game?
He's not hating. He just knows that Fortnite's going to win that category. So,
Yeah.
like,
And that's it, ladies and gentlemen.
It's kind of moot that anybody else is nominated.
If you want to hear our predictions, Kind of Funny Gamescast, Thursday. It's going to be a good one. Thank you all for joining us for this riveting episode of Kind of Funny Games Daily. Until next time, I love you.
Oh my gosh, the end came so quickly.
I know.
That's what she said.
I'm sorry.